Hi book huggers, this is Jen, and today we're going to talk about Rivers of London. Today we're here to talk about Rivers of London. It's the first in the Peter Grant series by Ben Aaronovitch, and this beautiful thing is the UK cover. I highly recommend that you seek out the UK covers because the US ones are terrible. I mean, really bad. I actually bought this in London 2 years ago while I was there, and I read it on all the trains that we were on, and I read it on the plane on the way home, and then promptly lost track of it, which was weird. And last weekend I did a major clean of my house and found it and finished it. Thought it was the best option for my first book talk / review because I've technically been reading it the longest. So here we are. It is 390 pages technically. It has a bit of the second book in it, so it ends up being about 414 pages. So the book's about Peter Grant. I almost said Peter Parker, but no, it's Peter Grant. And he's a probationary constable in London, which means that he just got started. He's kind of a newbie. And he is working the night shift one night when there's been a murder. They've discovered this decapitated body, and it's his job to watch over it. And he sends his partner to go get some coffee, and suddenly this ghost shows up, and Peter can see him and actually talk to him, and the ghost tells him that he witnessed the whole thing. And so Peter takes down the information and actually reports it and finds out that there's actually a super secret, even secret from most of the police force, division of the police that deals with the paranormal and magic. And they realize that because Peter could talk to the ghost, he has a gift to do this kind of magic. And so they take him in as an apprentice. And his mentor's name is Nightingale, who takes him under his wing. Aha! I know, I said that 3 times before I realized what I was saying, so I had to pass it on to you. Meanwhile, as he's doing all of this, Peter learns that all the rivers in London have sort of a god or goddess attached to them, and that there are 2 parts of the Thames that are ruled by Mama Thames and the Old Man, and those 2 have been fighting for a while, and so it's, as part of Peter's job, he has to sort of mediate that whole thing. So that's what happens. They have to go and solve the murder that started the whole thing, and then also these rivers of London and the gods and goddesses attached to them have to sort of be sorted out. That's the gist of it. It's really a cross between Law and Order type police procedurals and Harry Potter. And I know everybody compares everything to Harry Potter, but this really kind of is. It's about a young person who is introduced to this world of magic that he didn't know existed. So it does kind of have parallels. So some of the things I loved about this book was the fact that London is actually a character in the book. Ben Aaronovitch really must love London because the descriptions of it, the street names, he doesn't just say Peter runs down this street, he says Peter runs down the actual names of the street and turns the corner onto the next street, and you do feel like you're running down sort of the streets and back alleys of London. It's really great, and I think that that's why I loved it so much reading it while I was there. But even now, 2 years later, reading it reminds me of when I was there. So if you have any sort of love of London or want to go or have been there, this is definitely a book that you will enjoy. I loved the whole idea of combining a police procedural type thing with a magical world. And if any of you guys have read the Shades of London series by Maureen Johnson, and if you haven't, you really should because it's awesome. It's kind of similar, but also very different. For things that I didn't love as much, there's a lot of, well, the main character is a guy, and he's not just a guy, he's kind of a dude. So there's lots of, the first impressions you get of all the female characters are of their body shapes and their cup sizes, and it's a little bit annoying. Another thing that I didn't really like was it's not really fast-paced. I think that that's how I could sort of lose track of it for 2 years. I kind of expected it to move a little bit faster, and it didn't. But even so, I want to know more about this world, even with those little hiccups. And I mean, okay, so his dudeness isn't a little hiccup, but even with those things, I do want to know more about this world. We talked in the last top 5 video that I did about series that I don't often get to finish series, but I have already ordered the second book in this series, so I think that that says something. I may not get to it for a while, but I did order it. The UK cover, of course. And the second one is Moon Over Soho. And I did go ahead and order it because I am interested enough to see where it goes, and I have heard that the books get better and better, so I'm kind of excited about that. So recommendations, if you liked the Shades of London series by Maureen Johnson, I think you would really enjoy this. If you like any sort of police procedural, you're going to enjoy it, as long as you like a little magic thrown in. I would say that the series concept is huggable. Hopefully when I get the next book, I can tell you for sure. So we'll give it a tentative hug. Yeah. So let me know in the comments if you have read the series and what you thought of it. If you've read the whole series, no spoilers. But let me know your thoughts. Also, if you've read the Shades of London series, let me know what you thought about that. If you haven't, totally go do it. It's worth it. Also, I wanted to let you guys know that I play in other parts of the internet as well. So if you are ever on Tumblr or Twitter or Goodreads or Instagram, you can look me up at the links that I will put in the bookshelves below. I would love to see you there as well, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Hi book huggers, this is Jen, and today we're going to talk about Rivers of London. Seriously?